Looking through the window of one of the best companies in Nigeria is a young man in his late 20s, a man who survived what many wouldn't have survived ordinarily. But he did. Yeah, John did survive. Flashback. My name is John Olaleek. I was born into a family of 10, including my mum and dad. My parents are from Ijebu, but we live in Lagos State, Nigeria. I have 4 elder sisters, 2 elder brothers, and 1 younger brother aged 3. I was 6 years old when I began to understand what life really meant for us. There's an adage that says when life deals with you, it brings out resilience, resourcefulness, and ideas that can change your story. That's actually my own version, because that's exactly what life taught me. Back in those days, it was normal in our house to eat only once a day at 6 p.m. when my dad returned from school, where he worked as a teacher. By the way, my mum was a stay-at-home mother. Where would she even go? There was no money to start any business, and she wasn't educated. My dad's monthly salary of 20,000 went straight to paying house rent, which we still struggled to complete. God bless Papa Yinka, our landlord. He's truly a good man to us. My brothers and sisters worked just to survive, not to thrive, since none of them went to school. After all, where would the money for education come from? One fateful day, Oladameji, my elder brother, got a new menial job that he could combine with the one he already had. He was so happy it felt like life was finally smiling on us. His new boss even allowed him to work on weekends. Then Demeja surprised us with what he said next. He wanted to start school at the age of 14. We were all shocked, considering our situation. But since he just got a new job, we decided to support him as much as we could. Oladameji started school the following session after saving part of his earnings from his jobs. The day he resumed school, we were all so happy, especially me. At least, out of the 8 of us, 1 person was finally going to school. At first, Demeji was enjoying school. He made new friends, although he sometimes complained about not being able to buy the necessary things or eat during break time. But since that was his dream, and Demeji was such a determined person, he didn't quit. Thank God for his class teacher, who liked him and helped him in little ways she could. Demeji was also a very bright student, and we thought luck was finally on our side. Until one day, Demeji, the new hope of our family, started feeling weak and sick. His teacher did her best to help. My mum, who had started doing menial jobs too, spent all she had on his treatment until we finally took him to the hospital. At first, we thought the sickness came from the stress of juggling jobs, but the doctor's words broke our hearts. Demeji was suffering from a terminal illness that would require surgery if we wanted him to survive. But where would the money come from? We tried our very best to save Oladameji, but all our efforts failed. We borrowed money from everyone we knew. We prayed, we hoped, but in the end, it was too late. We lost him. That period felt like hell for my family. The little light that once gave us hope was gone. We couldn't save him, and it broke us completely. The day Oladameji died, I realized that poverty also kills. It takes away the people you love most. That day, I made a decision I would not lose another family member to poverty. I would fulfill Oladameji's dream. I was the closest to Demeji in the house. He always called me listener because I loved hearing his ideas and dreams. A year after Oladameji passed away, a man came to our area to teach free evening lessons for children around my age. My older siblings couldn't join, but I did determine to break free from poverty. I attended every lesson joyfully, and I soon realized how much I loved learning. The teacher noticed me and began to treat me like his own son. He always told me the truth about life and education, that success comes only when you give your best in everything you do. His words changed me. From that day, I began to study under streetlights, pushing myself to be excellent. After a few months, the desire to attend a real school started burning inside me. I told my lesson teacher about it, and he encouraged me to believe that God would make a way. One day, while working at the mechanic shop, I usually worked menial jobs on weekdays and learned mechanic work on weekends. A rich man came to fix his car. He noticed how hardworking I was and asked my boss about me. Later, He told my boss that his wife had been looking for a young, trustworthy house help since their previous ones had been causing problems. The man followed me home and spoke with my parents. He explained that he wanted to take me in because he saw my determination. I had told him earlier that I was working to support my education, so he promised my parents he would send me to school while I lived with his family. My parents agreed, grateful beyond words, especially when he gave them some money to support us. It felt like God had finally remembered us. That weekend, I told my lesson teacher about my new boss, Mr. Williams, and how I would be leaving soon. He was happy for me, though he said he would miss me. He spoke about how unpredictable life can be and encouraged me to stay focused on my education, not to let distractions or challenges weaken my faith in myself. The following week, Mr. Williams came to pick me up in the afternoon. As we entered his estate, I couldn't believe my eyes. Beautiful houses, shining cars, and peaceful streets. It looked like heaven. For the first time, I thought, why can't life be like this for everyone? But then I reminded myself education will change my story too. When we got to Mr. Williams' house, I felt a mix of hope and fear. Hope that I'd soon start school, and fear of whether his family would truly accept me. When I got to the Williams house, I couldn't believe my eyes. Everything looked new, shining, and expensive. The floor tiles were so smooth that I could see my reflection on them. The chairs were soft like clouds, and the air smelled of something sweet I couldn't describe. I stood quietly by the corner, afraid to touch anything. My old world was full of dust and broken things. This one looked like paradise. Mr. Williams introduced me to his family. His wife smiled kindly, but their 3 children, Talou, Bola, and Khalid, looked at me like I was a stranger from another planet. The first few days were hard. Talou barely answered when I greeted her. Bola wrinkled her nose each time I passed by, and Khalid would whisper things and giggle behind my back. They didn't want to talk to me. I understood. I was the houseboy, the poor boy who came from a place they couldn't imagine. Still, I did my work happily. I cleaned, fetched water, arranged their toys, and made sure their shoes were always polished. I didn't mind. I was grateful to have food to eat and a bed to sleep on. But sometimes, at night, I'd cry quietly, remembering my family back home, my mother's tired eyes, my father's worn-out clothes, and my brother Demeji who died because of poverty. I kept telling myself, John, this is not the end. This is the beginning. Then, one Saturday morning, something happened that changed everything. The children were playing football in the compound. The ball rolled under one of the cars, and none of them could reach it. Without thinking twice, I lay on the ground, rolled under the car, and pulled it out. But before I could stand, the ball slipped from my hand and bounced toward the gate just as it was opening. I ran with all my strength and dived for it before it rolled into the street. When I stood up, covered in dust, the children stared at me shocked, then amazed. Khalid was the first to clap. Wow, John, you're brave. From that day, something changed between us. They started calling me to play with them. Talou asked me to teach her how to kick properly, and Bola shared snacks with me for the first time. I started helping them with homework too. Even Mrs. Williams noticed and said, John, you've brought life into this house. Those words meant the world to me. I had gone from being the help to being a part of the family. At night, I prayed silently, thanking God for the chance to be seen not for what I was, but for who I was becoming. A little did I know, this was just the beginning of my Real journey. Years later, I sat in my own office, a tall glass building in Victoria Island, Lagos. Olalik Innovations Limited. My company. My dream. My reality. I looked out the window at the skyline, remembering that 6-year-old boy who once ate once a day, who lost his brother to poverty, who stuttered under a streetlight and still believed he could make it. I made it. My parents now lived comfortably. My mother had her own shop. My sisters went back to school. My younger brother was doing his master's degree abroad. Sometimes I'd send money to the old landlord, Papa Yinka, just to say thank you for being kind. One sunny afternoon, my secretary walked in. Sir, we have a new applicant for the marketing department. Her name is Amara Obi. I looked up sharply. That name. When she entered my office, my heart skipped. She was older, thinner, her confidence replaced by humility. She smiled faintly. "Good afternoon, sir." Her voice, I recognized it immediately. She didn't recognize me at first. We talked about her experience, her skills. Then halfway through, she froze. Her eyes widened. "Wait. John. John the houseboy." I smiled. "Yes, John the houseboy. But now, John the CEO." She covered her face. "Oh my God. I'm so sorry. I was young and foolish." I nodded gently. We all make mistakes, but life teaches us in ways we don't expect. When she left, my HR asked, "Sir, should we hire her?" I paused for a moment, remembering the insults, the laughter, the orange juice spilled on my desk. Then I said quietly, "Yes, give her the job." Not because she deserved it, but because Grace had found me when I didn't deserve it either. Later that evening, as the office lights dimmed, I stood by the window and whispered, "Brother Demeji, we made it." I thought about everything, the pain, the loss, the shame, the insults, and I smiled. Because all those things didn't break me. They built me. Or if you've ever been looked down on, keep going. One day, those same eyes will look up to you.